June 18th. It's unusually chilly. This has been the most boring train ride in my entire life. If it wasn't for my need to see William, I wouldn't even bother coming to this town. Why did he move here anyway? Raccoon City. What kind of stupid name is that? Even the name sounds boring. June 20th. I've officially been in this town for 2 days, and no one seems to know anything about William's whereabouts. It's almost as if he doesn't exist. I'm starting to wonder if he lied to me. One thing's for sure, though. Umbrella Corporation is all over this town. June 27th. I went for a hike in the R.I.P Mountains. According to locals, it's one of the main attractions of this town. Odd thing was, the closer I got, I began to notice the roads were closed off by the local police department. I didn't see any RPD officers around, so I jumped over one of the roadblocks. After hiking for about a mile, I sat on a rock to take a quick breather. I came across these really odd tracks on the ground. They didn't look human. Hell, they didn't even look like any animal tracks I've ever seen before. I sat there for a few moments more, but then I started to get this weird feeling like I was being watched. I could have sworn I heard what sounded like moaning in the distance. July 1st. I stopped to get a drink at a place called the Bar Jack. Nice place. While there, I struck up a conversation with a guy named Brad Vickers. He said he worked for a special division of the local law enforcement. Said his unit was called STARS, S-T-A-R-S. When he said that, it reminded me of the roadblocks I saw up in the R.I.P Mountains the other day, as well as the weird tracks that I couldn't identify. When I mentioned it to him, he looked at me like I was crazy. He told me that several hikers, mountain bikers, campers, you name it, had disappeared without a trace. That whatever remains were found of said people showed signs of having been eaten. He told me that the R.I.P Mountains had been closed off to the general public. He asked me what brought me to Raccoon City, and I told him I was looking for my half-brother William. He said the name didn't really ring a bell or sound familiar at all, but I guess he must have sensed the urgency in my voice. He told me he was going to look him up in the police database and that I should go to the RPD and ask for him personally. He wrote down the address on a napkin and told me to keep it quiet because if the police chief found out a civilian was granted any form of access to police records or information, it could cost him his job. July 5th. I finally was able to get a hold of Brad. He had taken some time off, and man, did he look bothered. He said the captain of his team had sent the Bravo division of STARS to investigate some more disappearances and bizarre activity in the R.I.P Mountains, but they lost contact. He said he looked up William's information in the database, and all he could find was that his last known address was in Raccoon City and that he works for the Umbrella Corporation. I swear, I see so many Umbrella products and banners in this town. One would think Umbrella owns Raccoon City. I couldn't help but see the despair in Brad's eyes, so I asked him what was wrong. He said that his team was being sent to the R.I.P Mountains to find out what happened to Bravo team. He shook my hand and said, "Good luck finding your brother." July 18th. So, I started working at a gun shop, since it sounds like I'm gonna be here for longer than expected. Kendo gun shop, to be exact. The owner, Robert, is cool, but seems a little bit stressed lately. I guess his brother Joseph met someone and decided to relocate somewhere else, some place called Stoneville, leaving the entire store to him alone. Guess that's why he hired me so easily. I've only been working here for a week, and this town seems a little odd. I accidentally gashed my hand with a nail while doing inventory, so I ended up going to the Raccoon City hospital. They gave me 4 stitches and sent me home, but while I was at the hospital, I saw a man there that looked odd. His eyes looked lost, and he kept scratching himself uncontrollably. It made me itch. When I got back to the shop, Robert was there, and he had a look of joy on his face. He said his brother had sent him a custom weapon that he had made for some guy he knows named Barry Burton. He showed me the piece. It was real nice. Says its name is the Raging Bull. Whatever gets shot by that is history. August 7th. I went for a walk today. I came across Brad. He looked awful. He told me that his unit had just gotten back from investigating up in the R.I.P mountains. I tried to make small talk with him, but he was very unresponsive. He told me that I should consider leaving Raccoon City. When I asked him why, he just turned and walked away. August 20th. I went back to the Raccoon Hospital so they could remove the stitches. The doctor said I was good to go. While I was walking out, I overheard a loud commotion in the ER. Curious, I made my way over to get a better look. There was a man there that had been brought in by the ambulance. I guess he was some park ranger. He had these terrible claw marks on his chest. He was bleeding terribly. Before they could get him to see a doctor, he died in the waiting room. I saw paramedics rush him to the back, and he suddenly jumped up on the stretcher. He was trying to bite the hospital staff. I've never seen anything like it. Thank goodness for the restraints. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened. August 26th. Work was slow today, and Robert seemed his usual self. Brad came into the store to pick up a specialty gun that Robert's brother had designed for the Stars team. He calls it the Samurai Edge, and it's a real beauty. Brad said he wanted to talk to me, so I asked Robert if I could take my break, but he said to go ahead and take the rest of the afternoon off. When I asked Brad what this was about, he simply said, "It's time I told you what happened up there in the R.I.P mountains." August 27th. I took the day off from work today and just went for a walk. I'm still trying to grasp everything that Brad told me. He said his comrades told him about mutated dogs, sharks, plants, and all sorts of other bizarre creatures. He said they stumbled across a mansion up there that seemed to be cut off from the rest of the world. He also said that they encountered zombies. It was really hard to take him seriously when he said that. I mean, zombies? Those are the things you read about and see in movies. He also said that his comrades also discovered that Umbrella Corporation had involvement in whatever happened up there. When I asked him why he didn't take the rest of the RPD to investigate the mansion, he said that his comrades had activated the self-destruct sequence, causing the mansion to detonate, thusly incinerating any and all evidence. He also said that they discovered that his leader, Albert Wesker, was involved in the entire thing, that he was an informant for Umbrella, and worst of all, that Wesker worked together with the creator of this mess, William Birkin, my brother. September 8th. So, apparently, there's this disease going around this town. Signs that you might be infected are dry and itchy skin and an almost uncontrollable hunger. I heard on the news that they believe that it might be in the water supply. Good thing I stocked up on a lot of bottled water. I also heard rumors that some people have died from this disease. Even more shocking is that some people claim that the victims come back to life after the disease has completely destroyed them. Suddenly, Brad's stories of zombies don't seem so far-fetched anymore. I haven't seen Brad in a while. Maybe I'll go pay him a visit and see if he can shed some light on what the hell is going on. September 12th, I went down to the RPD to see if I could catch Brad. Holy shit, was it a madhouse. People were panicking, and I overheard several people talking about the living dead roaming the streets. I talked to an officer named Marvin, asked him if Brad Vickers was around. He told me no. but that he could get me another STARS team member instead. He introduced me to a woman named Jill Valentine. She told me that the city was being placed under martial law and that I should get out as quickly as possible. I asked her if what was going on in the city had anything to do with the mansion in the R.I.P Mountains. She gave me a bewildered look and asked me how I knew what I did. I told her what Brad had told me, and her eyes got very wide. She took me into the STARS office so I could explain in detail exactly what Brad told me. Once I told her, she said that the Umbrella Corporation was committing illegal experiments in the mansion, and that her and her comrades fear whatever wasn't destroyed in the explosion has made its way to Raccoon City. September 17th, when I got to work today, I noticed that the shop was still closed. It's been 5 days now. I peeked inside, saw that Robert was there, so I knocked on the glass. He let me in, and as soon as I saw him, I could tell something wasn't right. I asked him what was wrong. He said that the town is literally becoming a nightmare. He said he's seen some really weird things on the news lately. His friend Barry Burton has disappeared, as well as the other STARS team members. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Brad in days. I'm starting to wonder, what the hell is happening to this city? September 25th. This city is damned. People are acting like wild animals. I saw one man bite a woman in the throat. 2 officers shot him in the back, and he didn't even flinch. The officers tried arresting him, and one officer was bitten in the arm, and the other officer shot the man in the head. I've never seen so much blood. The woman died right in front of me. One of the officers began dressing the other's wounds and calling for an ambulance. The woman then jumped up and began walking towards the officers. She attacked them and tried to bite them. The officers proceeded to execute her by a gunshot to the head. What in hell's going on? September 26th. I locked myself in my apartment. I stayed glued to my television. I watched as the Raccoon City Police Department attempted to eliminate the zombie threat. They were unsuccessful. I watched as hordes of zombies brutally overpowered the RPD. I turned off the television and grabbed my things. I'm heading over to Kendo Gun Shop. Robert might need me. September 27th. We're out of weapons. Robert decided to distribute whatever weapons he had left to the citizens of Raccoon City. I asked him why, and he said everyone in this town deserves a fighting chance. I would be lying if I said I didn't admire his decision to put other people before himself. He handed me a Magnum with some extra ammo and wished me luck. I asked him to go with me, but all he said was, "I'm not going anywhere." That was the last time I spoke to Robert Kendo. September 28th. I honestly don't know why I came here. Perhaps because I felt this would be the safest place? I've already taken down 6 zombies. It's never bothered me to kill. That's the only guarantee in this world. Death. However, one of those zombies was a little boy. He couldn't have been more than 10 years old. I couldn't bear the thought of killing him. So, I ran away instead. Thankfully, the undead are slow movers. I found safety in the RPD library. The moans of the undead echoing throughout the halls became too much, so again, I ran away. I ran inside one of the conference rooms on the first floor, and that's where I came across a small group of officers. One of them was Marvin, and he actually remembered me. He said that the STARS team was right about zombies and bizarre creatures in the R.I.P Mountains. He spoke with such disappointment about not accepting an offer to transfer to Detroit. I felt bad for the officers. They're all visibly frightened, truth be told, so am I. September 29th. I'm still alive. To be honest, I don't know how. I saw this huge creature wearing a black suit walking through the police department. It looked unlike anything I've ever seen before. Could have sworn I overheard it say something. Sounded like it said the word "still." Thankfully, it didn't see me. Marvin was attacked by the zombies. I don't know if he's dead or not. I left him behind. I was afraid. I decided to leave the police department as it has become compromised and is no longer safe. I found a dead body right in front of the police department. It was Brad. His face. He had an extra clip in his Beretta, so I took it. I need to get out of this place. I no longer care where William is. Only my life matters now. September 30th. What happened here? This clock tower is completely destroyed. I'm starting to feel like there is no way out of this hell. I am completely out of ammo. I only have a crowbar and a hunting knife. It's gotten me by pretty good, but I don't know how much longer I'll last here. I haven't eaten anything in 2 days, and worst of all, one of them bit me in the arm. I managed to stop the bleeding, and it's almost completely healed. In a 2-hour span? I've never seen anything like that. I don't even know if anyone will read these words, but writing helps me feel a bit normal amongst all this insanity. I know I'm going to become one of them. I'm not afraid, just upset. I never got to apologize to William for our fight. I'm sorry, William. I'm sure that you, your wife Annette, and daughter Sherry got out safely. You're probably on a beach somewhere, basking in the sun, laughing about trivial things. I wish I was with you. October 1st. Come back to police department. Oh, itchy, hungry. I try find brother, but fail. I feel slowly turn zombie. Please kill me if see me. Turn. I no more man. Itchy. Hungry.